The Lee Phillips Show, brought to you by Tidy House. Lee's special guests, James Garner and George Raft. And now, here's Lee.
Well, George Raft and James Garner are two very well-known names in the entertainment world. You'll meet both of these gentlemen today, and you'll get to know them. We also have some good ideas for you, ideas that will be helpful to you at home, and ideas that will be helpful to you personally. For instance, if you're trying to cut down on calories, do you know that you can enjoy iced tea as sweet as you like it with no calories? You can when you use Sweet 10. Sweet 10 gives you the sweet taste of sugar with no calories and no bitter aftertaste. Sweet 10 is Pillsbury's no-calorie food sweetener, and you use it in place of sugar. Why, just 6 drops of Sweet 10 equals 1 teaspoon of sugar in sweetening power. Then, when you enjoy the flavor, you'll find it's delicious, refreshing, sweet, and no bitter aftertaste. And there's so many ways to use Sweet 10. Try Sweet 10 on fresh fruit. Use it on cereal. Why, you can even cook and bake with Sweet 10. Look for Sweet 10 today. You'll find it in liquid, tablet, or granulated form. Whichever form you use, Sweet 10 from Pillsbury gives you the delicious sweet taste of sugar with no calories and no bitter aftertaste. We'd like you to meet two very talented actors, George Raft and James Garner. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Well, a little bit earlier we were talking about leading ladies, and you've both worked with a great many. George, do you have a favorite?
Yes, I thought my favorite was Carole Lombard, God rest her soul in peace.
How many pictures did you do with Carole Lombard?
3.
And James, do you have a favorite leading lady?
I love them all. Yeah, I think, really a little bit. I think Audrey Hepburn. I worked with Audrey a couple of years ago, and I don't know, she's just kind of real sweet now.
Well, tell us why they're your favorites now, if you would.
Well, as far as Audrey, she's just probably the nicest person I ever met. And along with it, she's, one of the great talents.
Yes, she is. Fine actor.
And the combination of the two, it's really, kind of a personal thing.
Easy to get along with.
Perfect.
No temperament.
No temperament whatsoever. And Audrey has a facility for making every person that she meets, no matter who, feel completely at ease.
Would that describe Carole Lombard a little bit, George?
Yes, I think Carole had a great sense of humor, and she was honest, and furthermore, that she was always for the underdog. And during those days, and of course I'm going back to the 1930s, that she would try to get a lot of girls jobs. And if they were not on the set, she wouldn't get on the set until they were there.
So she really helped people get into work.
Yeah, she always wanted to help people. She always had a great sense of humor. She was always laughing, pulling jokes and tricks and things like that. Because remember one time with Clark Gable that she, just before she married him, she sent him an old little Ford. And another thing with Norman Torog, she made a picture with Crosby where there was a cow in it. She sent a cow to his house.
Well, that's a nice present. And you have fresh milk every day.
That's right.
I think there's a commercial like that.
There is?
Yes. Well, Jim, you have a good sense of humor. When we see you on television in these interview shows, you're...
Oh, me?
Yes, seems like you have a comedy writer feeding you lines from the back room.
I usually can't think of anything to say. And I usually say something that sounds completely ridiculous, and they think it's funny.
Ah, they think you're making jokes.
Yeah.
Well, both Jim and George, you both had extracurricular activities and other professions before you went into acting. Quite a few, as a matter of fact. George, you were a boxer?
Yes, a dancer. And,
now, did you mix the two together, George?
No, I started as a boxer and was not too good. I could run pretty good.
Yeah.
I figured I'd take up dancing. Well, I tried my original profession. I tried to be a baseball player. That was my great, great love because I was a mascot of the New York Highlanders, which are the New York Yankees today. And I used to bring the bats on the field in the wheelbarrow and then take their uniforms to get them washed and bring them back and then on the side sell newspapers. But I always wanted to be a ball player, but I could never get tall enough I couldn't probably hit or couldn't go to my left too good.
No, but you did very well with the films. in the film business?
You didn't do bad, George.
No. How many films did you make, George? Do you know?
105.
105.
And you never watched one of them?
No.
Isn't that amazing, Jim?
It's just kind of interesting, George. You did 105 films. What would you say, an average of 2 hours apiece?
I guess they were like that. Because we used to work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And 7 days a week, but there was no sort of a time limit because I would work maybe Saturday nights, you know, was to the studio. And I'd finish maybe Sunday morning at 3 o'clock, and they'd say, well, you start another picture tomorrow, and we're going to start on location. And the only time we can get it is on a Sunday, where there isn't any people around or something. So naturally, the next morning, I mean, I'd leave the dressing room and just be into another thing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was running or something like that.
Yeah.
And I started all over again. But I know the first picture that I made was nothing to work around the clock.
Yeah. We've stopped that, George.
Yes, I know.
Don't believe in that. I don't know. I averaged, I think, I averaged better than 11 hours a day at the studio when I was doing a television series. But we only had to do it 5 days a week.
So you had Saturday and Sunday off.
Thanks to guys like George, we don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I started the thing after that. When it got 10 minutes of 6, I had a man. He used to tell me it was 10 minutes of 6. And I think I had taken it from George Arliss, God rest his soul in peace, because he had a man on the set, and he used to go this way.
10 minutes of 6?
I wondered what it was, and then I used to see him walk. So after that, when I had my man, he used to go this way, then I used to walk.
Darn right. Good enough for George Arliss, it's good enough for you.
Good. Will you excuse me for just one moment? I think I'll take a walk, and I'll be right back.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'd like to tell you how much I enjoy speaking with you each day about Tidy House, the Pillsbury Company's home care center, where people work hard to make your housework easier. Isn't that a marvelous thing, that people really care enough to develop products to suit our needs as modern housewives? Products like Tidy House Dexol, the bleach that's safe for fabrics you never dared bleach before. Tidy House Perfex, the sudsless, rinseless, heavy-duty cleaner. Tidy House Super Borax with hexachlorophene to go after more kinds of germs and bacteria in the wash than any other borax. And Tidy House Spring Rain Water Conditioner to rinse away detergent gray, to give you a cleaner, softer wash. Each day I'll show you how Tidy House products work together, how they can help you. Products from Tidy House, the Pillsbury Company's home care center, where people work hard to make your housework easier. We're back with our guests, George Raft and James Garner, and we were talking about leaving at 10 minutes of 6 or 10 minutes after. Which one was it, George?
Oh, 10 minutes of.
Of 6. But things have changed quite a bit, haven't they, in Hollywood now, James? What time is closing time?
Well, they'll still get away with it as long as they can. The actors, guild has gotten to a point where you can work them 24 hours if you want to pay them, but it gets pretty expensive at that point.
The golden hours.
Yeah. Of course, different people have different hours, like when I'm working with Doris Day, well, she likes to go to work and start shooting around 10 to 10:30, and then we don't quit till around 6:30 or 7 at night, where other people like to get up in the morning and get there early and start shooting at 8:30, and then we can finish at 5:30 or whatever.
You never made a picture in Europe yet, have you, James?
I made one in Munich, but it was an American company. I know what you're talking about, but boy.
They start at 12 o'clock.
At noontime?
Noontime. And, of course, you have coffee maybe at 4 o'clock, and you work till 8 o'clock. And, of course, I was over there many years ago, and I used to have them build a fire on the set. It was so cold, And I'd run near the fire, and then, of course, I had to do a love scene where I'd wear a silk shirt, and I'd be freezing, and the smoke would be coming out of my mouth, But, and somebody to go to change their trousers over there, take an hour and a half to come back. The Italians, they take a little siesta.
But did you enjoy the pictures you made in Europe, George?
Well, I really didn't see them to enjoy them, but...
Did you enjoy doing them?
No.
No.
No, I was in the deepest part of North Africa in 1947, right after the war. And being a motion picture actor, I was hoarding oranges. I was in a place called Tenerife, and there was only the sort of the black African. And after I was there for about 3 weeks, I was just as black. You know, being on the desert, they didn't know the difference.
That's around the equator.
Yeah, and of course it was pretty rough. And over there, the men, of course, they have their own union. They come in and they complain about the food if it isn't good or bad, or they're going to quit or something like that. And you never know when you're going to start and when you're going to stop. I know I was helped building the fort. I know the motor broke down. I was trying to fix the motor. I was trying to do anything to get out of there.
Yeah.
Just hurry things up.
I think there was an awful lot of that same thing on Cleopatra, you know. These guys found a gold mine, and the more they could hold it up, the better. I mean, it was not only bad decisions and illness and this, that, and the other. There was actually plots against the studio to keep the picture there by, you know, people who... one guy started out with, in a limousine service, he had one limousine and ended up with over 20 by the time the picture was over.
He made his fortune
He made
with
his fortune.
Cleopatra. No wonder it cost so much.
Well, I think what they should do, like, say, for instance, in England, I made quite a few pictures over there. I think if you walked in and you got the whole crew, and you said to the crew, this picture is going to take 8 weeks to make. Now, we might make it in 7, but you're going to be paid for 8. They'd work. But long as they know that you might make it, you know, in 6 or 7 weeks, two guys are going to go and get the lamp. And they're going to take their time. They're going to say tea. Now, there's a written law, I guess, that nobody can use the clappers, you know. I mean, the guy has to be there, so you sit there and wait.
Yeah.
While he's having tea.
I know I heard a guy say the other day, he says, well, I'm going to make a picture in England, and he says, I want to bring it in on schedule, this sort of thing. He says, look, don't fight them. Just do it their way. Right. Don't try to impose the American way of making films on them, because you'll never get it done. Right. He said, do it their way, you'll get it made.
When in Rome, live as the Romans, and when in England, live as the English.
Yeah, they stop at 6:15, and you may want that 15 minutes extra, and the guy gets on the blower. He says, well, shall I give this guy 15 more minutes? And you're sitting there, you don't know, and all of a sudden, the men just walk out, and you're still sitting there.
Well, I wish that we had 15 more minutes, but we're going to have to say goodbye, and thank you so much for being with us.
It's our pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. James Garner, George Raft. Excuse me. Well, we'd like to talk to you about fashion for a moment. You know, a modern woman might wear a rayon print dress like this, dacron and cotton slip, nylon and spandex underthings. Well, here's one thing that you can be sure of. They can all be machine washed with special care, and they can all be bleached with Tidy House Dexol bleach. Tidy House Dexol is the only kind of bleach that lets you safely bleach fabrics you never dared bleach before. Tidy House formulated Dexol for just that purpose. Women like you who have used Dexol bleach on modern special care fabrics they never dared bleach before tell us Tidy House Dexol is the one kind of bleach that's safe for all washable fabrics. Every modern home needs 2 bleaches, chlorine bleach for heavy-duty jobs, Tidy House Dexol for special care jobs. Try Dexol bleach, another fine product from Tidy House. Be sure that you have plenty of Dexol bleach on hand in your home. Well, now, we'd like to invite you to be with us each day at this time. Later on this week, you'll meet the lovely actress Jean Crane. And then we'll be doing a feature on wills. You know, it's important for every person to have a will. Then the Smothers Brothers. As you know, they're wonderful humorists. And on Friday, George Maharis, who is a well-known actor and recording artist. Each day we'll have outstanding guests, and each week we'll be featuring our series on how to help your husband live longer. We'll be talking to outstanding doctors from all over the country with ideas on how you can help your husband and your family. We'll be looking for you tomorrow at the same time with ideas from Tidy House. Have a nice day. Bye.
The Lee Phillips Show, brought to you by Tidy House, will have as its special guest tomorrow, actress Jean Crane. Be sure to join us every Monday through Friday for The Lee Phillips Show on the CBS television network.